Good morning, and welcome to Thursday, the 21st day of October, for Church at Home with Rachel. It's good to see you. Today, I'd like to pick up where I left off on Tuesday about talking about church, but before I do, I'd just like to let you know about something I saw yesterday on social media following, considering what I talked about yesterday about a rape on a train in Pennsylvania. Last night, I saw an article on Facebook about another public transit situation where a young man was very upset and agitated and was obviously having some mental health issues, and people were getting scared. But an older woman in her 70s, I believe it said, reached over to him and simply touched him. And she sat with him until he calmed down. And she just knew he needed someone to touch him, some human contact. So in this case, we have this beautiful image of an older woman using maybe her maternal instincts, I don't know, but reaching out to someone she didn't know, someone who could have been perceived to be threatening, and she brought him peace and helped to calm him down, which brought peace to the whole group of people around them. That's how we should be treating people on public transit or anywhere for that matter. There can be good stories in the world, and those are the stories that we need to share. Those are the stories that we need to participate in. So, to that older woman and that young man, God bless you both. And to all those people who were watching and the person who took a picture and told the story, thank you. We needed that. So today, I'd like to pick up with part 3 about, I talked about why people don't go to church. I talked about why people do go to church. Now I'd like to talk to you about why people should go to church. Okay. Yes, I am a priest. And yes, it is my job to lead church and to encourage people to go to church. But that doesn't mean that I necessarily think every person should go to church. Well, I do. I think everybody should go to church because they need to or they want to, because they are interested in developing and fostering a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. I think that everybody can benefit from that. But it's not just that. It's the fact that the church is a place, or maybe should be, I'll say should be a place, where people can gather and be fully themselves, where people can be at peace. They can find that moment of pause in a busy world where they can go in and take a deep breath and just sit and be in the presence of God. And church should also be a place where when you have a question to ask or you're concerned about something or you're praying about a decision to make, whether it's like whether to ask your girlfriend to marry you, or to change vocations, change your job, to apply to further education, or to move your family across the country. The church should be a place of contemplation and prayer where anyone can go and sit, be, and know that even if they feel it's hard to find the presence of God anywhere else, this is one place where they can. The church should also be a place where we can celebrate. Rob had a supervisor in his placement in London who introduced something called life events to his parish. And I picked it up and borrowed it and used it in all my churches since then. And we have announcements like, there's going to be a fundraiser, or, when is the next meeting and things like that. But life events are those opportunities for people in church to say, hey, I'm having a birthday. I just became a grandma. Um, my, it's our anniversary today, or this is what's happening in my life events. Now, we tend to think about life events as those positive things, those happy celebrations. But life events can also be when people come forward and say, I've been diagnosed with cancer and I have to have treatments. I need your prayers. Or I'm really having a tough time um, with my neighbor and I need your advice, or I need you simply to pray. I just need somebody in the community to know. Life events can be just moments of, I had a great week this week, or I really appreciate the fact that we are praying for so and so. Life events don't have to be big and splashy moments like anniversaries or birthdays. They can be as simple as standing up and saying, I had a great week, or I didn't have a great week. I'm glad that we're all here together. Church should be a place where people can come as they are, whoever they are, whatever they look like, whatever they're wearing. We have to wear masks, and that kind of sucks. Because there's something about being able to see another's face when they're smiling, when they're singing, when they're sad. Being able to understand and show compassion. And sometimes it's hard to show compassion when you can't see another person's face. It's hard for them to see through your eyes alone that you are loving them and you're concerned for them. But church should be a place where that can happen. Years ago, hasn't happened often. 1 second. I'm finding it very dry in the house today. Years ago, I've only had it happen once in my 22 years of ministry. We used to have the publication of marriage bans, where for 3 weeks in a row, a man and a woman would, well, that's when it was, a man and a woman, would have the priest announce their intention to be married in the parish church. And then the people would have opportunity to say, well, I know of a reason why they can't get married. The bans were published legally so that that could happen, because there's a part in the license that we sign, and there's in the church service itself, the marriage service itself, where we ask if there's any reason that anyone knows that these two can't legally be married. And that's what the bans did. They gave people opportunity to come forward and say, she can't marry him because she's married to me. Things like that. But it used to be when bans were read, that was an announcement to the community. That was a life event. Something's happening, something big and wonderful and beautiful and new. This man and this woman are going to come together and they're going to create their own family. And we as a community, as a church, are going to be around them. And we're going to support them. And we're going to be there for the ceremony. And we're going to celebrate them. And when they have babies, we're going to baptize them. And we're going to teach them in Sunday school. We're going to raise them up to be faithful Christians and members of this wider family, this bigger, greater community in which that young man and woman who don't realize it now, but for the next 50 or 60 years, are going to have people around them who will support and encourage them. That was the beauty of this, the sharing of the banns of marriage, publishing the banns, BANNS. We don't do that anymore, and even the odd time that a couple will legally, I don't know about Alberta, but I know in Ontario and Nova Scotia, reading the banns was not enough. You still had to have a marriage certificate, a license that said from the province, yes, these two people can legally get married. And that's a shame that the province took that away, that the government took that away from the church, because that was a function of the church that wasn't just a practical function, that yes, these two people can get married and the priest is doing something, working as a civil authority to solemnize that marriage. But it took away the privilege and the right of the church to be the body or the institution that upheld and encouraged and pulled together the whole community around these people who were pledging themselves to one another. That's what the church should do, and that's why I think people should go to church, because the church is a place where you can find support and encouragement. It is a place where you can find love and admonishment, where people will remind you, gently I hope, how to get back on the right path. And it seems to me that our society is desperately in need of some guidance and some urging people to get back on the right path. So I understand, I think I understand a little bit of why people don't go to church. And I think I understand a little bit of why people do go to church. But I think people should go to church in addition to their relationship with God and all that stuff. And that's so important. But going to church is also about being a part of a community that holds you accountable and to which you participate in holding others accountable. And when we have that, our whole community is benefiting. Not just the church community, but our neighborhoods and our town councils and our school boards. And when we all learn to be accountable to someone outside of our own physical household, for instance, in like a church, then we learn how to be accountable in the world. And the world gets better. So there's some reasons why you should go to church. Maybe tomorrow I'll talk about some reasons why you shouldn't go to church. And then I'll wrap up my going to church series for this week. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you. Go out and watch the sunrise, or go out tonight and watch the sunset. But take those opportunities to see the miracles that God provides every day, just for you, because He loves you. And so do I. God bless. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachael on Friday.